Welcome to our channel, where we gently explore the beauty of living with intention, wisdom, and heart. And if you're a woman who has come to understand that home is far more than four walls, if you know deep down that it is a reflection of your soul, your presence, and the care you offer not just to others, but to yourself, then you've arrived at the perfect moment, because today, we'll be sharing 15 simple yet deeply meaningful ways to make your home feel calm, beautiful, and truly yours. All without pressure, perfection, or the overwhelm that so often sneaks in when we think we have to get everything just right. And instead, we're embracing a gentler way, one that honors where you are in life and allows peace to take root slowly, naturally, and joyfully. So wherever you're listening from, whether you're curled up with a cup of tea, walking through your own rooms, or dreaming about what you want your home to become, this is your space to breathe deeply and reconnect with the kind of beauty that doesn't need to impress, only to nourish, because your home should be a sanctuary for your soul, a mirror of your grace and your resilience, a place where you don't just exist but truly rest, dream, and come alive. So let's begin with something that requires no budget, no effort, just your attention, the energy of presence, because the moment you begin to show up fully in your space, not as a to-do list, not as a fixer or cleaner or decorator, but simply as a woman who belongs there, you begin to shift everything, and presence doesn't need grand gestures, only small rituals of mindfulness, like lighting a candle with intention, pausing to feel the sun on your skin through the window, or sitting still for 5 minutes in silence before you begin your day. And once you bring this kind of attention into your space, you'll begin to notice what's been whispering to you all along. What feels good, what feels heavy, what's asking to stay, and what's ready to go, which brings us gently to the next invitation. Release the things that no longer reflect who you are today, not with guilt or harsh judgment, but with compassion and clarity, because we often keep things out of obligation, fear, or the hope that one day we'll need them again. But what if your home could breathe a little easier, and you along with it, if you gave yourself permission to let go? And this letting go isn't about minimalism or stripping everything bare. It's about choosing with love, keeping what resonates, what supports your peace, what tells your story in the language of textures, colors, and meaning. And even one clear drawer or one shelf transformed from cluttered to intentional can shift how you feel in a room, can whisper to you, you are allowed to have space, you are allowed to evolve. And from there, you might find yourself drawn to natural light, which is one of the most overlooked yet powerful elements of creating a calming home. So open your curtains wide, clean your windows gently, move a chair closer to the sunbeam in the morning, and notice how light changes everything. Not just how it looks, but how it feels, because light is life, and when you invite it in, it brings clarity, softness, warmth, and even a kind of rhythm to your days, marking time not by clocks but by the shifting dance of shadows and golden glow. And as you embrace light, remember that scent is another invisible but transformative part of the atmosphere. So rather than chasing perfection with expensive sprays or trendy candles, consider the simple pleasures: a bowl of dried lavender, simmering orange peels and cinnamon on the stove, or the fresh smell of rain-soaked earth through a cracked window, because scent anchors memory, calms the mind, and makes your home feel alive in the most gentle way. And from there, look to sound, not just silence, but the sounds that bring ease, like the rustle of leaves outside, the bubbling of a kettle, soft instrumental music, or even your own humming as you move through the space, because sound is a kind of texture, and you can choose to fill your home with sounds that soothe your spirit, remind you of peace, or connect you with nature's slower rhythms. And once you begin to think of your home as a sensory experience, you'll naturally start choosing fabrics, colors, and materials that feel good to the touch and to the eye, not because they're fashionable, but because they nourish you. Whether it's a soft throw blanket that makes your chair more welcoming, a well-loved quilt that tells your family story, or curtains that dance slightly in the breeze. And as you bring more softness into your space, consider the power of having corners, not just literal ones, but metaphorical ones too. Places to pause, to reflect, to journal, to pray, to read, or simply be. And these don't need to be picture-perfect reading nooks or Pinterest-worthy setups. Just intentional little zones where you say to yourself, "Here, I get to just be," without performing or producing. And even a favorite chair beside a lamp with a cup of tea and a worn book can be your sacred retreat if you name it as such. And this is where meaningful objects come in, things that have heart, memory, soul, not because they're expensive or trendy, but because they belong to you in a way that only you can understand. So display your grandmother's teacup, frame that photo of your younger self, set a stone from your favorite beach on the windowsill, because these are the things that remind you who you are and where you've been, and every time you walk past them, you are grounding yourself in your own story, which leads us to the rhythm of care, not cleaning in a rush or frantically organizing to keep up with someone else's standards, but the slow, intentional act of tending, wiping down a table with love, watering a plant like it's a prayer, fluffing pillows at the end of the day as a gift to your future self. And when you tend to your space in this way, you begin to feel more tended to as well, and suddenly, your home isn't just a place you manage, it becomes a partner in your well-being, an extension of your inner world. And speaking of plants, living things bring soul into space in a way nothing else can. Whether it's a vase of wildflowers, a leafy green by the window, or a tiny pot of herbs on the kitchen sill, living things ask for presence and reward you with growth, beauty, and even companionship. And when you care for a plant, you remind yourself that nurturing is not a burden. It's a way to participate in life. And another beautiful way to claim your space is through color, not by following trends or obsessing over palettes, but by choosing hues that make you feel safe, happy, grounded, whether that's earthy tones that calm you, soft pinks that make you smile, blues that invite daydreaming, or deep colors that make a space feel held and enclosed. And once you begin to see your home as a canvas for your emotions rather than a showcase for others' opinions, everything shifts. You decorate not to impress, but to express. And from there, you might turn toward texture, layering soft with rough, warm with cool, light with deep, because texture speaks to our need for complexity and comfort. And as you continue, remember to leave space for change, to not fill every wall or shelf, to allow room for the unexpected, because a home, like a woman, is not finished but always evolving. And when you leave room for your life to shift, your space becomes more flexible, more forgiving, more alive. And finally, bring in ritual, whether it's lighting a candle at sunset, making your bed each morning with slow hands, playing music while you cook, or simply standing still at your doorstep to bless the day as it begins or ends. And these little rituals turn ordinary moments into sacred ones, remind you that every day holds a chance for beauty, and that your home, no matter its size, style, or condition, can be a haven if it is infused with care, honesty, and presence. And so as you listen to all of this, take what speaks to you and leave what doesn't, because this isn't about rules or checklists or standards. It's about you, the wise woman who knows that gentleness is a kind of strength, that care is a kind of creativity, and that a calm, beautiful home isn't something you chase, but something you cultivate little by little, breath by breath, choice by choice. And your home doesn't have to be perfect to be sacred. It just has to be yours, filled with the kind of love that doesn't need to shout, the kind of beauty that comes from within, and the kind of peace that only comes when you finally decide that your presence is enough, your story is worthy, and your life, just as it is more than enough to build something beautiful around. And we hope you carry this feeling with you today, and every day you return to the place you call home.